Good morning, you guys. It is the weirdest day ever. We're supposed to hit 80 degrees after we just had a storm, and our forecast had only showed days that were in the 60s, 70s, and now we have days on our forecast that are in the 90s. So I'm in long sleeve and shorts. So I've got some things I want to do today. It wasn't even on my list of things to do, but we're doing it today. So I want to build another small bed in the veggie garden, and I also want to take out the compost. We do add a lot of stuff to our compost. This compost is 3 years old now, so it's really rich and full of good stuff in it. But I want that to be flower beds, and I want to add another bed in the veggie garden. So let me show you guys where I want to add the bed. And I'm just going to build it quickly out of some wood that we have just lying around the property. And yeah, it's kind of what I did for our big one. And I'm just going to copy the same thing. Oh, see, the storm is, I don't know what's happening. Is there storms coming in? Is there not storms coming in? There's wind. It's weird weather. Let's go in here. So coming in the veggie garden, I feel like we've spent so much time in here. And now I still have not staked up the morning glories. But right here you can see, so this line right here, I used to have a bed that started here and it went all the way down, and everything grew way too big and it was hard to walk around everything. I mean, you can see this tomato plant goes all the way to here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave a really large walkway here, and I'm gonna start a flower bed here, and it's gonna go to about that line. So it's gonna be about 4 feet, and it's gonna look somewhat like this one that I built. So I've got these boards here. These are 2x6s for this bed. It's just gonna be for single row of items here. This one is made out of 2x4s. Is that a 2x6? Oh, maybe that one's made out of 2x6 also. You know, it's been a while since I built that one. And it's gonna go to about right here. I was gonna go all the way, but we still have to finish the fence over here. I mean, ignore that. I didn't even paint those posts. I painted the fence black in the middle of summer 2 years ago, and there was stuff growing right there that I couldn't reach those. Anyways, we're gonna ignore this, and we're going to get this bed done so that way I can empty out some of that compost, the really good stuff, and fill it into this bed right here. I have to do this really quickly though. I can't walk in here. Well, that right there is about 1,000,000 times better. Look at this. You can actually walk through here. And I don't even have to slightly duck. I should have done this forever ago. I also really staked the tomato to the side. Look at that. I guess I should grab this right here. Pop these guys over on this side. Perfect. Look, you can see the willow branches moving in the back of it. So all I did was I took some bamboo, and this is cattle panel right here. So what I did is I took the bamboo, and you can see, so it comes out, the cattle panel ends here. It comes all the way out to here. And I went under, over, and then under. So I just kind of weaved them through the cattle panels. And I've got a couple sticking out the front and a few sticking out the back. This cattle panel, I really should have let it be a lot wider. I ended up taking one cattle panel and I cut it in half to do the 2 sides. And every year I have this problem where this is 3 plants and this is 3 plants. So it's 6 plants total, which I want the 6 plants. I want it to be full like it is. I mean, look at them. They're so pretty. The morning glory is on it. And this is them kind of fizzling right now. And it's just so beautiful. So I want the fullness on it. But I should have done a whole cattle panel on this side and a whole cattle panel on this side. Look at the aviary just peeking through that. Ugh, magical. I love morning glories. So this is what's gonna be the flower bed. So this is something from a different project. This is when I went to Janie's house. We built this ramp, and this is how we got the fountain out of the truck. And so we just kind of leaned that side up against the truck, and then this part down on the ground, Janie put her foot on it, and then we were able to slide the fountain down on the back side of it. And it made it so it was really easy and a lot safer than us trying to lift it out and drop it on the ground. So this is what we did. And now I have all this wood, so we're going to upcycle it The plan is we're gonna take all of these boards off right here. That's just bracing all of these together so the boards didn't bow when we were like trying to like slide the fountain off of it. And so I'm gonna cut this in half. We'll see how the game plan changes as I continue to build. I'm gonna do all my measuring at once. So I have 2 boards that are the same size, and then I have a bunch of other boards that are much longer. So I'm gonna cut those down to be the same size as this one. I'm gonna measure them, not cut them yet. So I didn't even measure those. That was really easy. I just traced exactly what I'm doing. So one of these big boards here, and I'll have just a little tiny spacer right there. Okay, so now I have our boards all measured out. We have this really cool Ryobi cordless chop saw. So we just throw a battery in here and safety glasses. So we're gonna go ahead and cut these right on the mark. And this thing has been so easy. It's been really nice to have a cordless chop saw. All right, we're done. We're gonna lock this guy up, pull that battery out, and we're gonna take everything into the vegetable garden now. Okay, so I have it all laid out. We are gonna go 4 tall. So I think it's gonna be taller than that bed, which is really, really nice. I feel like that one's a good size, but I wouldn't mind if it was a little bit taller. So it's gonna go 4 tall. You can see this is how big it's gonna be. So it is gonna be shorter than I even thought it was gonna be. So, I mean, there's the boards. It's just gonna be a nice little bed. And this is going to be another area that I can just tuck in small growing things. I'll be able to direct sow some carrots in here, maybe some beets. I want to try beets this year. I've never tried them. So I have the length of the bed, the depth of the bed right here. And I've got all my piles. And then over here, these are going to go in the corners. So I'm just using all the scrap wood that I have. So these are 2x4s and these are 4x4s. And so what I'm going to do is in probably these corners, because this is probably where it might get hit the most, I will put the 4x4s in these corners, and then I will take the 2x4s and put them in that back corner over there, just so that way it's nice and short up together. And then Brent is cutting me another piece that's actually the same size as those, and that's going to go in the middle of these boards, so that way it's nice and short up and that it doesn't bow. We forgot that's what we did in that bed, was we made it so that way it just doesn't bow. So let's start assembling this really quickly. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of measure so that way this 2x4 is butted up against here. This one I'm not screwing to the board yet, or to these 4 boards. This is just to get me so that this 2x4 is to the right depth, so that way when I sit this bed up, these can go right up against it, and that it makes the bed a little bit wider instead of losing 4 inches of space. Okay, so we have our sides built now. My plan now is to stand these up, and then I'll start screwing our back wall into the 2x4s that we just attached. Once I get those done, then I will attach these 4x4s to the front here, leaving a gap just like we did in the back, and it'll just make it a little bit easier because these have to be screwed in from the outside of the bed. So I'm gonna stand these up and start getting the back wall built. Okay, so we have now the wall standing up, and I have this board right here. This is what's going to be our side walls. And so putting them on the inside gives me a little bit more wiggle room. Had I put it on the outside, it would have brought this bed in an additional couple of inches. But this makes it so it's just a little tiny bit wider. So now I'm going to screw these to these boards right here. Okay, one side's done. Let's move on to the other. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to this side over here. Same thing, I'm gonna put the 4x4s in and just screw them from the outside because they're so deep I can't screw them in from the inside, which is kind of a bummer because I didn't really want to see any screws, but I think I have a solution. So let's get these capped and get these boards in. This is so exciting. I'm so happy that we got this done. Now it's time to take my compost pile apart and fill this up with compost. And like I said, I really don't want to see all of this edging. I need to come in and like take these little tags off, but I don't want to see this edging. So we are going to, after I fill this with compost, we're gonna run to Home Depot and I'm gonna get some edging to take care of this, to trim it out. I'm also going to get some 2x4s to do the top of the fence, or to do the top of this bed like I did the raspberry bed also. So I think I'm gonna move this into place where I want it, which I want it back a little bit further, and I think probably right about right here. So I'm just gonna scoot this back. Before we fill this up though, really quick, I'm gonna run drip tubing underneath it because I have drip irrigation right at the end of this bed. And before I get, because I will forget, I need to go underneath and then up it. I don't want the drip tubing to go over the bed. I always prefer it to go under so I don't even see it, basically rendering it invisible. So I'm gonna do that really quick. So you can see right here, this is our drip irrigation. This line right here has emitters built into it. I'm gonna unfold this section right here, run it straight over underneath this bed and up. So that way, when we fill this with compost, it's just full of compost and I don't have the tubing going over the edge of it. It goes up it, and then I have irrigation directly to this bed. Okay, so we have the bed where I want it to go, which is nice because I can put like a little flower pot right here, which I think will be really pretty, or maybe even like a bench or a seat or something to have somewhere to sit in the vegetable garden. I think might be really nice. So this is where we're at. I need to fill it up now. I connected the irrigation there. I'm gonna kind of bury that so it's easy to kind of like walk back here. And I put a T on here. We have to go get some more drip tubing. And what I'm gonna do is do that exact stuff that has the 12-inch spacing, and I will connect it on this side so it'll be a line and it'll be a line, and I'm just basically gonna make a grid. So I'll probably have like 3 rows in here, maybe 2 rows, I don't know, probably 2 rows honestly, and they just go down and then they'll connect at the end and connect at the end, so that way there's like even water pressure. But we are out of the irrigation tubing, so we got to go get some more. So we're gonna run to Home Depot and go get lunch, and then we'll come back and empty out the compost from that into this. Okay, so now we're back home and we had picked up some 2-inch flashing. This is normally what you would use on gutters or on the roof, and we're going to use it to just trim out the edges. You can see what it looks like without it and obviously what it looks like with it. And I've got some tin snips right here, and I'm just gonna go in and right at the top of this, I'm gonna just cut it. So these are meant for cutting metal like this. So this should make this easy, and I'm not too worried about how it looks because we are going to go in with that top cap. So if it's a little bent, a little miscut, it should be fine because the top cap is going to come out just a little ways, so you won't even see if the cuts are a little bit wonky. I think that's good. So that should fit on there perfectly. And then like I said, it'll have that top piece so you won't even see how it's a little bit bent. You're not even gonna be able to see that, which is really nice. And then I am gonna come in, I think tomorrow, and paint these beds. So let's go ahead and we're gonna add some liquid nails now to this. We're gonna put it on the back side of this. This is what's just gonna keep it from falling off, especially with it being exposed outdoors to the elements. And just to make sure that it doesn't fall off while I'm working on the rest of it, I'm gonna go in with some painter's tape and just attach it securely to the bed. Okay, so now that we finished this one, I'm gonna repeat this process 3 more times for this bed. And I'm also gonna repeat it 1 more time for that bed over there, just that one corner, tired of staring at it when you first walk into the garden bed. Or the garden, the vegetable garden. That's the one that you see is that corner. So I want to cover that up, and I think that that'll hide it. I'm not going to do it to the back corners just because you don't see those. So I'm going to repeat it for this corner, or for that corner, and the back two, and that one. So 4 more cuts. So we got those all done. We ended up going in with some of this Gorilla Tape. This stuff is seriously amazing. We use this for a lot of projects around the house. So the painter's tape just kept like falling off the wood. So we just went in with some of this. I was hoping to like not have to use this because I didn't want it to maybe leave some like gunky residue. But I mean, honestly, this stuff it's not gonna be on that long, so we'll see. But it's on there. Those won't go anywhere. This is looking great. Next plan now is to wait for these to dry. Okay, the chickens are freaking out. Wait for this to dry, then we'll hammer over some of these edges that are just like a tiny fraction taller, like this one. Like we'll just hammer those over. We will fill it with compost. And then we're gonna go ahead and cap the bed. Little corner to it, makes it look a little bit more nice. I mean, look at that, that looks so much more finished. Okay, so now the plan is I need to move this rose. We need to undo our hose link here, which we have mounted to the compost. And then take off the front boards, move the bench, and then we're gonna start emptying out the compost. I think this one is more done than the other one. I mean, you guys can see, look at this soil that's in here. Is that not just like the most perfect soil? It is really, really good, lofty. It's amazing. This stuff has been cooking for about 3 years now. So very long time. I'm digging in here. Oh, look, there's a rock. And it smells like very expensive potting soil. This stuff is amazing. I cannot believe that I grew this. I mean, there's still some weeds growing in here. So as I'm pulling the soil out of here, I will be very cautious to get all of this out. Because this is Bermuda grass, and I really don't want this growing in any of the beds. So as I'm pulling compost out, I will be cautious to not let any of this in here. Okay, well, one compost pile is almost completely empty, not even fully empty. There's still, I mean, the whole outer edge there, plus there's probably a whole nother, 2 inches of compost in there. You can see there's a 2x4. So there's still a little bit in there. That's okay. What I am gonna do is probably off camera, because I'm a little bit sweaty and it's kind of gross. It's the end of the day. I am going to take off the chicken wire that's here and this side, and then this compost here, I think what I'm going to do is just kind of like let it scatter out into this area. And when it's scattered out here, it'll just like be a lot more nutrients over here. This soil, pretty much all of this and back to our fence, it used to be a driveway. And so it's really rocky, really gravelly. So I'm going to let all of this compost kind of like spill forward. And I'll do the same thing for this. I am wanting to build one more raised bed, I think, possibly. And when I do, I will use this pile of compost to fill in the next bed. But I'm going to take care of this section here just to start getting this all cleaned up. And let me show you guys how full that bed is off of that much compost. So here's the bed. It is so full of this beautiful, rich, lofty compost. This is like amazing, amazing stuff. It smells like earth. Oh, look, a nail. We've been finding the most random things in our compost. We found half of our dog's tennis ball. We found some little random plastic pieces, a nail, but I swear it's really, really good stuff. And we're just still waiting for these edges to dry. And I think Brent is going to take care of this like top piece like that one has. I'm just not like super comfortable doing the like corner pieces because they're cut at an angle. You can see how that's cut at an angle. I did this bed and it's fine, but I figure I'm gonna let him do this bed so that way if he messes it up, I can be mad at him instead of mad at myself. It makes more sense to me that way. Look at the dirt. It looks like I have a unibrow. Okay. So, I'm gonna let him do that off camera, and I will show you guys that in just a second when that's done. Okay, well here we are. The sides are not dry yet, so those are gonna stay on overnight, but Brent got it capped and he seriously did a perfect job. I don't have to be mad at him tonight. There he is. There he is. We got the drip in. It's a little bit crooked because I was trying to get as many emitters into this as possible because they are spaced every 12 inches. So you can see there's an emitter right there. There's an emitter right there. And had I cut this one at the right length where I wanted to cut it, which would have been like right here, means that there wouldn't have been an emitter from here all the way down to this one. So it's a little bit, and that's all right. And this one doesn't have an emitter from here to there. Otherwise it wouldn't have even fit in this bed. So what I think I'm going to do is just go in and I'll like put in one of those like individual drip emitters into this. I think that the rest of this should be okay. And what I did do also, because we're not obviously having anything in this bed right now, so I had originally put a T on it. I cut the T off, put an elbow, ran it over to this. This is an on-off switch, so when we're not using this bed, it's not drawing any water. All of our veggie beds have this except for that one. So this bed also has one. You can see here is the on-off switch. So every one of these has it, so that way when there's nothing in here, I'm not wasting any water. So this is gonna go to, I think this is off. Nope, that's on. That's off. So these are off now. And I'm gonna come back tomorrow and we'll pull the tape off of it and I will show you guys the paint color. And I'm so excited because it's going to transform this entire space. It's gonna be so nice. Okay, ignore the hair, ignore the dirt. I look like a crazy person. It's been a long day in the garden. I'm gonna go inside. I'm so happy to have this done. I cannot wait for you guys to see the paint color that I have chosen. It is so pretty. And one more thing, you guys saw I did top this off with a little bit of the Fox Farms potting soil. Just, I don't know, just to fill it up a little bit more. And because that stuff is also really, really good. So this bed is like nothing but amazing goodness in the ground. So that is gonna be it for this video. I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you for coming along with me today and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.